school was not something which was a second job. In fact, the school was his home, not his second home. And he was also the person who once in a while would try and teach something, and every time he would try and teach something, some crisis would break out in the grounds of Hogwarts and his class would be interrupted. Now, do we know somebody like that?
Absolutely.
Who? No? Bad guess. Think again. His class got interrupted every 10 minutes. Yes! Mr. Bhola! Like the journey for me for this school has been from 1974 to 1989. I still remember the time when the school was in ramshackle buildings, during monsoons, there was water in the classrooms. During the winter, because of the broken windows, we froze in those classrooms. And I've seen, and we've all seen with our eyes, Mr. Bhola just making the rounds of this ground over and over again to get construction going and to give us these buildings during our time which we could be proud of. And for those of you who took his geometry class, you will remember that never would it be more than 10 minutes before somebody would come asking him a question or getting him to sign an invoice. So here's to you, Mr. Bhola. The second character of Hogwarts is the vice principal, McGonagall. And you remember what McGonagall's mandate was. She was the discipline keeper of the school. No guesses for this one. The best part about McGonagall was that despite having this really, really strict face around her, as the kids progressed and went from nursery or whatever, first year towards the 7th year, all of a sudden, McGonagall stopped being this terrifying person and started being this like amazingly warm and friendly person. And that for us was the life and times of Mr. Shekhar. I don't think there's anybody in the batch of 1989 who at one point or the other wasn't on the wrong side of Mr. Shekhar, didn't get scolded. But I think as we have now children and as we see, so many of us go through these schools and as we have this desire for more order and discipline in the lives of our children, we just realize more and more how he was such a linchpin in holding things together. How having the discipline in the school freed the teachers to focus on teaching and the kids on learning, knowing that there's this sword of Damocles, or Mr. Bhola will tell me that my pronunciation is all wrong, hanging over his head. So that's our second character from Hogwarts. The final character is who? No, Hogwarts. Dumbledore. So you remember Dumbledore, kind and wise, but there was one thing more about Dumbledore, his ability to see an incredible amount of good in everybody, not just if you belong to one particular house or the other, even when he saw Slytherins, he could see good in them. And if there was one thing that was important to Dumbledore, it was to make sure that not only do you come out of Hogwarts as good magicians, but you come out of Hogwarts as good humans. And I think nobody played a bigger role in that than Mrs. Pillay. And I think if there is one thing that we really, really cherish, I think 25 years down the line about what the school gave us, I think it is the values that it gave us. Mrs. Pillay was always insistent that the school build in us empathy, sincerity, gratitude, perfection, honesty, truth, and at the same time make sure that our aspirations to become better in academics and extracurriculars are met. So for all of that, we are so grateful. So please join me in giving a toast to the three pillars of Mothers International School from 1974 to 1989. Mrs. Pillay, Mr. Shekhar, and Mr. Bhola. So now for my final one. Now this one I can only do because I can no longer be expelled from the school. And this one is from the boys of 1989 to the girls of 1989.
Voila.
So the girls of 1989, you were the reason that many of the days when we had long assemblies and very boring periods, it was still fun to come to the school. For many of us, lucky enough to hang out with you, you were the reason for our bad grades. For many of you, for many of us who were lucky enough or unlucky enough to be too awkward to ask you to hang out with us, but still wanting to impress you, you were the reason for our good grades. So my final toast is to all those crushes, all those teenage infatuations, all those unrequited and requited loves, all those broken hearts and all those connected hearts. So from the side of all the boys of 1989 to the girls of 1989, cheers. Cheers! All right, so now go and make the next 25 years as much fun as the last 25 years. Thank you.